Hi, I'm Anne-Marie Powell and welcome to my garden. Now January can feel like a very quiet month in our gardens, can't it? With all of our plants and bulbs working their magic below ground. But if you've ever wanted a tree, bare root season, which runs from about December to April, is the perfect time to get one planted. Now, bare root is the season when trees are lifted from the open field, which means they arrive devoid of any compost. And that means they're easily transported, easily lifted, and that means a cheaper price for you to buy. Now, what have I got here? Here, I have a bare root Victoria plum. Now, when you're thinking about fruit trees, always check out the size of the rootstock before you get your purchase made. Now, this one is on Julian A rootstock, which means it will grow to about 4 meters tall, but you can get it on Pixie, and that's perfect for a smaller garden. Your tree will grow to about 2.5 meters. Rootstock is the roots of the plant that it's been grafted onto. And there are different kinds of rootstock for different kinds of trees. When it arrives, it will arrive in a plastic bag. Immediately take that bag off. And if you can't plant it straight away, then just heel it into the ground. Dig a temporary planting hole and just put it in there until the time is right for you. The time's right for me right now. So I've let this little plum tree just kind of get a little bit of water up into its roots by popping it into a bucket of water for about half an hour. Okay, the time has come. Shall we dig a hole? Grab my spade and I'm going to dig quite a wide hole, and it'll be square as well. If you dig a circular hole, it means that the roots are going to just spiral around and around. If it's square, the roots are forced to break out of the corners. So my hole is going to be square and it's going to be big. And this is so that the roots, those shallow kind of surface roots, can get into the space and create a plate in which to support the whole of the growing tree. Now my tree is quite diddy, so I'm going to use the cane to support it that it arrived with. And it's just got these little plastic ties around it, which will stretch and break as the tree grows. If your tree was rather more substantial, you might want to use a stake. And you would put this stake in now. You would put it in a third of the way up here, meeting the tree, and then the tree will be able to move in the weather and create reaction wood, which will make a much stronger, better growing tree long term. But I am going to use this stake for now, and that's just to get level in my hole. So I'll offer up to make sure that my hole is not too deep and not too shallow, and just use it to see if my tree is planted at the right depth. Now I can see, luckily for me, the hole is just perfect actually. I can tell where the tree has formerly been in the ground. So that's great, and I can get to adding a little bit of mycorrhizal fungi. Now this mycorrhizal fungi will just add a little bit of tonic to the tree at this time of year, and it's filled with beneficial bacteria which allows the tree to take up nutrients when it needs it. And I know that this isn't always popular these days, but I do still like to add a few handfuls of peat-free compost just to the base of the root before I backfill it with ordinary garden soil that I took from the hole in the first instance. Okay, so we're almost there. Now I'm just going to gently, not putting the full weight of my foot onto the tree's roots, just gently firm down the soil around it. We don't want to over compact that gorgeous new ground. There we go. So I'm just going to stamp that in a little bit. Just give it a little bit of a tickle and just check that it is actually straight. There we are. And just as a final little pep, before I get to mulching, I'm going to add some of this, and this is afterplant, and it's just filled with a little bit of extra kick, more beneficial bacteria that I can add to the soil as I'm backfilling, but easier I find just to sprinkle it around the tree's roots. And all trees need mulching when they've been newly planted. It just keeps the water in and the weeds out. And you should actually keep this tree weed free for as long as possible after planting it. And I'm talking years, not months, just to make sure that the water can get down into the roots. So a little bit of compost around our new friend, making sure that there's not too much too close to the set stem. There we go. And all there's to do now is to give it a water. And I can use the water that my tree has been having a little drink from already. And that's it. Job's a good one. I'll just check it over to make sure there's no damage, which I'd just take off. You can see a broken branch here in the end. And I think we're good to go. So enjoy planting your trees, get your orders in now, and you'll be looking forward to fruit, flowers or foliage for many, many years to come. Happy gardening.